Hi, I'm Dr. Don Delusky for this edition of the Health and Wellness Journal. Today we're going to be talking about something you probably never even heard about, the gut-brain axis. What does that really mean? It means that there is an intimate relationship between what you put into your stomach and your gut and the reaction of your brain. Now, if we don't put the right foods into our stomach and we don't have proper digestion, our brain does not function and work properly. For example, many people are depressed. They're tired, they're run down, they have many health maladies. This can be traced directly back to poor gut health. For example, your serotonin, which is a feel-good hormone. It's very important for good mood, for the brain to function, to be happy, to be jovial. Many people who are depressed don't have enough of serotonin. But the interesting thing about serotonin, it's not produced in your brain. 80% of it is produced in your gut. So if you don't have proper gut health, proper function of that gut, normal bacteria, good bacteria, even bad bacteria, they have to be in a balance, then you cannot make the hormones that you need to have proper brain health. Now, most of you aren't aware of this, but the gut can produce 50 hormones. Now there's 50 hormones that come directly from our intestinal tract. So that just re-emphasizes the importance of having a proper, healthy digestive system. Now, what happens when we don't, or what causes these states of abnormality to where we don't have a healthy gut? Well, first of all, eating the standard American diet, which the words standard American diet, S-A-D, SAD. And the American diet is very sad. It's the leading cause of most of our diseases because it produces an inflammation. Now, there's two types of inflammation. There's one if you whacked your finger with a hammer, and you would get swelling, it would hurt, it would throb, it would turn colors, be very painful, get red. That's an acute inflammation. And that's the body's way of starting the healing process. Now what happens when we put too much of the wrong type of stuff into our system, meaning foodstuffs, we produce a silent, chronic inflammatory process. And this process here is associated with most diseases. Most diseases. Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, osteoporosis, high blood pressure. It's all related to this systemic stress and systemic inflammation. Now, cookies, white flour, white sugar products, eating high fructose corn syrup, eating corn, eating soy. These things produce pain. Why do they produce pain and drive inflammation? Because it's like adding fuel to the fire. The fire is the inflammation process. The foods we put into our body, they fuel that inflammation process. Now, soy and corn, any type of a grain for that matter, let's cover that right now. Corn, wheat, rye, barley, and oats. Remember this, grains produce pains. And most people wouldn't think of this. You're told to eat whole grains. Don't eat refined grains. The bottom line is, any type of grain produces pain. And the reason for that is because it drives what we call inflammatory markers in the body. But if you eat the right foods, you can also bring down these inflammatory markers. What are they? Omega-6 increases inflammation. Omega-3 reduces inflammation. And the standard SAD American diet has too much of the omega-6 to where we have too little omega-3s. And we need to bring this balance back into more a ratio balanced here, more aligned. Now, how do we do this? Well, first of all, you don't eat the foods that cause the problem in the first place, which are the foods that we mostly eat in America. Second of all, we have to increase and ingest those foods that produce a healthy environment. Now, if we put the wrong foods into our stomach and in our digestive process when it occurs, our stomach and our intestinal tract becomes inflamed. And this inflammation makes changes occur. This leads to a process called a leaky gut syndrome. Big word which simply means this. Let's pretend that we have a fishing net with the large holes in it. That would be an abnormal size and shape and porousness to our intestinal tract. And we would compare that to a cheesecloth. So the holes and the size of that cheesecloth are a lot smaller. That would be the analogous of what we should have normally in our intestinal tract. So whenever we eat a diet that produces inflammation, our body starts to attack itself. And this constant bombardment changes what happens in the intestinal tract. So those little cheesecloth-like holes, they change into those bigger fish net size holes. And then what happens? We have food that goes across the barrier in our intestinal tract, and it goes to places in the body where it shouldn't go. Right away, we get gas, we get bloating, we can get heartburn, we can get indigestion, bowel changes, and this is an inflammatory process, an allergic reaction, because food particles are going from a place where they should be to a place where they shouldn't be. And this chemical process all occurs simply because of the poor nature of our diet. The other thing that our diet can do, believe it or not, it can affect the mates that we pick, the people we hang out with. And it's just fascinating. We just don't have enough time to go into that at this particular segment of the Health and Wellness Journal. But we can cover that a little bit later. So we'd like to thank you tuning in for this edition of the Health and Wellness Journal. I'm Dr. Don Dulesky. We'll see you next time.